I have been overwhelmed with emotions for several weeks, and I can't trust my own judgment. Around Christmas of 2023, I noticed a change in my husband Justin, who is also 44 years old. He's usually an affectionate and passionate person, but our sex life began to decline. In the summer of 2023, our 19-year-old son Randall moved out to attend university. With just Justin and me alone in the house, we were intimate almost every day before things took a downturn. Other suspicious things started happening. Justin began going out without me more often. I noticed women's perfume on his clothes, and he became more secretive with his devices. In early September, I managed to access his laptop while it was asleep. I was expecting to find evidence of an affair, and I had a picture in my mind of what the other woman would look like. I found a mountain of evidence, nude selfies of her, videos of her engaging in intimate acts, exchange messages, and more. She didn't look like what I was expecting. She appeared to be at least 50 years old and around 200 pounds. My husband is very fit, and so am I. He is Hollywood handsome, so I was expecting someone like a slender 27-year-old woman. I sent as much of the evidence to my email and social media as I could. I showed my sister Betty, who is 47, the evidence. I was so emotional that I was insensitive with my words, especially since my sister has struggled with her weight. I called my husband's mistress derogatory names based on her appearance and age. Betty told me I shouldn't talk about another woman like that. I became enraged and asked how she could defend the woman who was involved with my husband. Betty said it was no excuse to body shame. I broke down crying, and Betty hugged me. Through the messages, it was clear that the mistress knew about me. Justin and she talked about me frequently. She sent happy emojis when Justin mentioned how much sexier she's compared to me. He messaged her that I'm too thin and muscular. Despite everything, I decided to leave him. I already have a divorce attorney. Justin even told her that he never loved me and that he loves her. I used to be overweight until around age 21. I would have gained weight if Justin had asked me to. The mistress and I look so much alike apart from the weight, and she's older than me. Reflecting on my actions, I realized that I was in the wrong for insulting her appearance. I decided to apologize to my sister and try my best to avoid insulting the mistress' looks. I hope others who read this will also avoid making judgments based on her appearance. Thank you to all who left constructive comments. Even if you called me out, I appreciate your input as long as it was constructive. The person who has been my emotional support during this is Justin's sister Kelly, who is 49. Before last evening, I had been slowly moving my belongings into Kelly's home. Last evening, Kelly did me the favor of informing Justin's parents, Bob 72 and Ann 71. Last evening, I took the last of my things and went to stay at Kelly's until I can find a place. I made sure to video chat with my son Randall first. I can't remember everything I said, but I will share the main points. I told him that it is the most important thing to his father and me, that we love him, but we are getting divorced. I told him his father was cheating on me and showed him how to find the mistress, Vicky 58, on social media. I told my son he doesn't have to hate her and that it doesn't have to defend me against his father. I told him I was at Kelly's house and he said he'd visit this weekend. I told him I love him and he said he loves me too. I then video chatted with Justin. The first thing I said was, "Our son, your parents, your sister, and I all know you're cheating." I got some grim satisfaction from the look on his face. I used his mistress' real full name and told him she looks like me. Justin tried to speak, but I cut him off to say that neither our son nor his parents hate him. Justin was apologizing, but I told him I didn't care. I asked him to make the divorce as smooth as possible. I don't care to fight for anything. I asked him to do me a favor and preserve our son's old room as it is. He agreed to do so. I ended the video chat. He tried to call again, but I ignored it. The next morning, I video chatted with my sister Betty. Before the call, I sent her some of the messages Justin had sent to Vicky where he body shamed me. In the video chat, I apologized for body shaming Vicky and said I wouldn't do it again. Betty apologized for bringing that up during such a difficult moment. I told Betty that I was staying at Kelly's. I asked her if she believes her husband loves and finds her attractive. Betty said yes. I told her then she should start acting like it. She asked if she could come to Kelly's this weekend, but I told her that I have enough support. I told her she doesn't need to come and that she should enjoy her husband who loves her. I admit I was petty yesterday and this morning, but that's as far as I plan to go. I'm in a privileged position where I don't need to fight for money from my soon-to-be ex-husband. I hope he makes this easy, especially since our son knows everything. I'm okay, considering everything. I do not want my original post, or my update, to encourage hatred of overweight women. I made a mistake calling her derogatory names based on her appearance. When I was ages 18 to 20, I was an overweight woman. Hopefully, I will live long enough to be an older woman. I dislike Vicky, but not because of her appearance. Yesterday, I called my sister Betty and told her she could come over to my sister-in-law's house. Betty brought her husband Mike, who is 51. I gave Betty a proper apology for body-shaming Vicky. I told Betty that I was angry about her pushing back when I body-shamed my husband's mistress, but that I also got angry at her for other reasons. I started viewing memories of Betty and my husband Justin in a different light, like how when Betty used our pool, Justin would suggest that Betty wear a two-piece swimsuit, or all the times Justin called Betty sexy and said that she didn't need to lose weight. I was also comparing my relationship with Justin to Betty's relationship with Mike. Most of the time, I would have to initiate things with Justin. He never showed affection publicly, but Betty often mentions how Mike can't get enough of her, and I've seen how Mike is always attentive to her in public. I also noticed a pattern that Justin was most affectionate toward me when I was on my period and bloated. Betty apologized to me again. She also mentioned how awful Justin's messages to Vicky about my body were. I told Betty that I've been jealous of her body since I saw those messages. Betty said she's been jealous of my body since I lost weight in my early 20s. I told my sister she should consider therapy if she feels that bad about her body. She said she would. I told her I would need therapy for everything that happened with my marriage. I also saw my son Randall, father-in-law Bob, and mother-in-law in person last weekend. I didn't talk about Vicky with my son, Bob, and I looked through Vicky's Instagram and then criticized her harshly. In almost all of Vicky's Instagram pictures and videos, she is in revealing clothes, often appearing disheveled. Many of her posts are of her at clubs, and in some videos, she references substance use and called Vicky trashy and gross. She also said Vicky looks like she smells bad. I admit I took some guilty pleasure in hearing that. My mother Jen, who is 69, lives in another state, so I didn't get to see her in person. Betty and I video chatted with my mom. Despite being a larger woman herself, my mom made negative comments about Vicky's appearance. Betty and I just let her say what she wanted. I know that my son, father-in-law, mother-in-law, and sister-in-law have all spoken to Justin via video chat. Justin faced criticism from all of them, and they all refused to see him in person. Justin says he still wants to talk to me, but I haven't responded since that video chat. There is nothing he can say. I understand that he wanted someone different. He's free to pursue that now. I am focusing on moving forward and healing from this experience.